And welcome back to the last game of the day for Division 2 of the Northern League of Legends Championship. We're about to see Guarp Gaming versus Raid. So this is going to be an interesting one, I would say. What do you feel about this one, Jamal?
Yeah, I feel like this one has potential to be very, very entertaining. Guarp, again, I'll say it, anytime they play against, the really top end of the table teams, Guarp's victories, and I'll continue to reiterate it until the end of the split, have come against Lightside, who admittedly, might be not quite top 3. We'll have to see how they eventually end up landing. But obviously won today, which is very good for them. Came against Natives and then came against Ununited. So their 3 out of their 4 wins have quite literally come against top 2-3 teams. Raid are currently third temporarily, unless they win this game, in which case they would be top 2. So they technically qualify for this criteria. That's what makes it potentially a banger. Now, granted, Guarp did lose to Raid in their first round matchup. That was quite some time ago, though. So maybe Guarp, having come off what I would call a positive looking 0-3 Super Week, could maybe actually give us something to play with here. But again, I think much like last game, we may have to go into this with a feel of this is a top 2, top 3 team against, a bottom 2, bottom 3 team as well.
And we've heard before that Guarp are kind of dangerous. They're not a crazy team. Yeah. We might see some crazy picks as well. Let's see as we jump into the champion select. It's going to be Karthus, Camille, and on the other side we see a lot of Adirs.
Into
Galen. Yeah, so it's different. It's Galen.
Yeah, exactly. Galen is really, really scary on the champion. It just seems like teams aren't really willing to give it to him ever, and I can definitely understand why. Corki will follow that. And I'll go up. I mean, looks more towards those target bans, right? Take away the Karthus. Sin, of course, the substitute for Raid, and I believe actually the AD carry substitute, he's jungling today. So we'll see how that potentially impacts the matchup. Of course, you have a player that's off-roll, plain and simple, into somebody who is on-roll, and removing away maybe one of his few comfort champions could be very, very potent. Seraphine will join that ban list. We have the likes of the Wukong up and available if Guarp want to just lean on that. As a very standard and easy to use first pick. Yumi was also taken off the board. Zeri, an option if they necessarily want it, but again, teams have really seemed to taper off that. And we're actually, of all things, going to get a Jin B1 for Fred Spaghetti. Of course, it's a Fred Spaghetti pick. That alongside the MF is definitely the things that you'll remember him for more than some of the other picks. But we'll see what they will do to play around it, because they have been absolutely deadly with this pick. When it's been there. Now Raid have the option to counter pick into it. For Mumu, maybe just for some immediate engage, and Raid take that one up very quickly. I wonder if that means we're just going to get Kalista, whether it's here or on R3. Draven could also come out technically as well. I think loads of aggressive options. Oh, they're going for the Kai'Sa. Okay, very spicy. So obviously a Mumu does strip away or converts magic damage into true damage. I can't remember the exact ratios. It's either that or reduces the MR. You'd have to look out. But either way,
the MR,
either way, does make magic damage, did a little bit more, hit a little bit harder. And obviously, Kai'Sa, whilst being an AD carry champion, does deal a fair amount of magic damage in her kit. So of course, there's a little bit of synergy there, and of course, can apply those plasma stacks with bandage tosses quite nicely. Now, Guarp are gonna pick up Vigo's Gnar, which he had a very fantastic game on that Gnar, if memory serves me right. And I'd like to see probably the jungle locked in here, just because you don't really want to see Galen's champion pool get pinched too hard. But at the same time, Nugget would maybe want his support pick. Instead, though, they're just going to go towards the Silas potentially here and now for the mid lane. And definitely a pick that we've seen him lean on a lot so far this split. And of course, already a very strong ultimate in the Amumu to take away. So now Raid definitely have to think about the ultimates that they are drafting for themselves as we progress through this draft.
You can bring the top laner here, you can bring the jungler as well, or even the mid laner, because you do no longer need to save that one. But just to correct something, the Amumu converts the damage, 10% true damage additional, from
Okay,
it's
well.
Slippery Snake versus Silas of all of them. And look at Gnar, you want to engage as Gnar, you want to double jump, you don't.
Yeah, and Not only that, this is just an Errol special. It's something that
Yeah.
very commonly gets banned out, even in the first rotation, because teams are scared that he will take it. And now what Raid can do is they can ban away two very, strong setup junglers that pair very well with this Silas, or they can even remove away top laners yet. Just things that very nicely use and utilize the chains of Silas for lockdown. So I wouldn't be surprised to even see maybe something like a Lee Sin follow up with this ban, just for the simple case of, hey, like, you get set up by the Silas, then the Sonic Wave connects. It's very hard to get away from that combination. Wouldn't be too surprised to see this combination taken away from Galem. And on the opposite side for Guarp, looks like their focus is just going to be counter matchups for Galem. Not for Galem, for Viggo Mopson rather. Gangplank taken away from Carl. We could even see, even though it's technically an okay matchup for this Gnar, the set taken off of Carl's hands, or the Olaf. I think two very, very strong champions that he's happy to lean on in a matchup like this.
I'd like to see that one, even versus the Gnar as well. Even the set or even the Olaf would be an interesting take. You have other options as well if you want to pilot on those one. We're talking about third place one versus one of the bottom tiers. But tell me, you were going to say
like you definitely do have like some more standard options into this Gnar, but I feel like it's Carl, so likelihood of seeing those standard options not really that high. Like, yeah, I mean, we'll see, because Wukong being banned away, technically a Carl champion too, but also doubles over as a jungle pick. And now I think Raid are likely to, I was going to say actually pick up their top laner, but Rumble is an old school counter to the Gnar. And it would be pretty fun to see it locked in. Now, okay, no, we're just going to go to the area.
This is an old school and still school.
Still, old school, new school counter, the Aurelia. And I think for Guarp, just hovering the Rumble, maybe they lock it in themselves, who knows? Like, it's a fast clearing jungler. Once it gets off of the first clear, it's still relatively strong. It's not as strong as how it was last year during MSI, for example, or last year during summer. But it does kind of get things going. The jungle pool pinched, but is it pinched enough for a Rumble pick to come out? I'm really not too sure. Is this Silas jungle for Galen, actually? Or is it it's Silas support for Nugget? Okay. Awesome. All right. So
we still don't know, but maybe it is. Yeah.
I think this is probably the most likely scenario if this Belveth gets locked in, because Silas into a Mumu, kind of hard to kill the Silas. Plus, you steal the ultimate. And I mean, they're hovering between different champions, and it seems like this is going to be the case for the final game of the day. What did we have? Like, who was it on the interview earlier on today that literally said, Guarp are psychopaths? This is why. Like, this is the kind of nonsense that they'll bring to try and throw curveballs. And this is what you love to see when you have these kind of on paper lopsided matchups, right? Where you have, third. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, it seems like Raid are going to step in.
Like, and Raid,
you picked your
it's 4D chess. It's 4D chess. And you know what? The best part about this, and it's going to seem really redundant, but in my head, I was like, I mean, Sin's auto-filled, so it would be kind of funny if they put him on a Mumu, but we've only been seeing a Mumu support, so I was like, yeah, a Mumu support, blind pick, they're just going to take it with the Kai'Sa. Cool, strong 2v2 lane. They can bring another jungler for some more setup in CC. No, he is the jungler, and now Raid have given themselves the Renata matchup with this Kai'Sa into the bottom side. However, I have to say, giving Silas Renata ultimate, kind of spooky, right? But I think it's obviously a lane that they're very happy and comfortable to take, so they have taken it regardless. Guarp, I'm not going to say they've been out 4D chest here, but very fun to see Raid play along with this flex. And just, again, reading the situation that they're in, right? Sin is an AD carry player off-roll in the jungle. Right? That is the circumstances that we are in. It is very unfortunate for Raid, but they are definitely looking to try and play around that. And we'll see what can be made done with this Amumu pick from Sin, and whether or not we'll actually get to see Nugget on the Silas support again make things happen for Guarp, because, again, they are the mad scientists on occasion, and they are the psychopaths of the league, apparently, as they bring this one to our screens.
Yeah, you were talking about Silas ultimate. I was looking, okay, you have the Curse of the Sand Mummy, you have the Petrifying Gaze as well, and even the Hostile Takeover. You have such big ultimates to steal away that are going to heavily impact in team fights, which I believe Raid wants to force. So whoever takes the lead in the beginning of the game maybe will seal the deal with those sort of setups. But what is the synergy between Silas and Jhin in the lane? That to me is an interesting one that I want to say. I don't want to question it. I want to feel it and see it. I don't want to analyze it. I just want to experience what Guarp are going to bring. Don't you analyze? Don't.
Me too.
Ah,
I'm in the same camp. I want to just see what ends up happening here with this lane duo
it's
because
about
it is
enjoying it. Yeah.
it's about enjoying it. And frankly, yeah, we just don't really get to see Silas support very often. It's something that gets spoken about in like NEC interviews very like sort of nonchalantly as being a very funny pick that comes out a lot in scrims. Just, you know, oh, there's a Sejuani and I don't know, Gragas or something stupid, like, or just another you know, engage support. So we're just gonna pick Silas because the ultimates are very broken. Something that some supports have in their pool. Because if you remember when Silas was released way back when, he was actually like a 4-way flex. Like he would play top, mid, jungle, and then if the matchup suited it, support was actually something that he would end up in on occasion.
I mean, his jungle clear was so good back in the day. I'm glad they tuned him down a little bit, but getting on the support. He starts in, okay, of all items, you're in melee, but you're still going to start with the spell thieves instead of the relic. Interesting. Again, comment.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try and break that down. I don't really get the logic between.
And that's the best part of it.
To be honest. Yeah.
That's the best part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Welcome to NLC.
Yeah, welcome to welcome to Division 2. Division 2 is great. Sin has started E, which is actually the wrong spell to start. And I think that's why Reader's zoomed in on him. But it won't make that big of a
difference. Yeah.
I don't think at the end of the day. He's definitely going to be a couple seconds slower if we're talking about efficiency. Now, the big troll is if he takes Q. Okay, all right, there we go. W skill secured. But yeah, expect Sin to probably just look for a full clear. I imagine that what he's going to be looking to do... Oh, Carl took a tower shot there. That's going to feel pretty bad. But what I expect him to do is just full clear and look towards that level 6 mark, ASAP. And I wonder if this is going to affect Galen's pathing at all in terms of, like, you know, maybe looking to be a little more aggressive in this lane, as that's a lot of damage, which gets exhausted immediately.
And even with the exhaust, it's still more than half HP out of a sudden gone. And this is not a lane that you want to be in, but since you start with longsword and triple health pot, you have additional 450 HP if you want to use it. You don't want to stack it instantly, but he's fine. He's still fine. You're just burning away the exhaust above all. There's going to be a big timer for the bot side. Now on the mid lane, Errol doesn't get to play this Cassiopeia a lot of times, and we constantly talk about it, how good he is. And it is mostly about the Gnar, the Graves piloting in the middle of a team map. But look at this. Galen trying to bite something, but they have the sixth sense. They know it. They smell the cigar.
Yeah, I guess they do. And they are sticking around, so if the extended play continues, then it's definitely something that can happen. They're actually on ward, so they're going to go for it now.
Handshake, pulls him back. Fred Spaghetti gets the root down as the smoke screen is going to slow them down. Gets the visibility as well. Velocity forced to flash away. It's good to talk about this another day. As Hoyes is playing with fire or playing with shotguns.
Playing with shotguns. The wave was frozen as well, so Poison Velocity going to lose out on a fair amount of XP. I'm not sure if that freeze will break. Looks like the answer is yes on the cannon wave. So I think Guarp, yeah, I would say probably want to try and hard shove this one out because they're going to look to want to reset in the near future. It seems like they kind of agree. I think once that cannon wave shows up, it should actually just slow push back out. Same kind of deal here if Errol wasn't auto-attacking the wave, but yeah, not a big deal. Wave management is something that you can honestly talk about in any cast for hours. Yeah. It's kind of monotonous, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
But it's important. It's important.
But yeah, like, it is an important thing. It's just a topic that's been worn into the ground by so many different people, so...
and you're a jungler of all kind of players, you know.
I mean, I'm a jungler now, but I've played every role bar AD carry and support.
You play the Asu, yeah, there you go. I mean,
yeah.
If you want to look into the past, you have a dark past. You play the Asu. So I think that's a -1. Oh, but I have problem that.
Yeah.
You're talking about me playing Teemo. I don't really think about that.
What's great is that I didn't actually say anything there. Reed did, and then you replied to Reed. Oh, Velocity is dead.
Velocity
Wow.
gets the first blood. There's no way to get out of that one. There's no bailout.
That was so much burst damage. I mean,
Out
I
of a
get
sudden, yeah.
Fred Spaghetti and Nugget were level 4. And Velocity was only level 3, but that felt like chain into root into dead. Like, there was not a lot that could have been done about that, outside of just don't get hit by the initial part of the CC.
Fruits of the labor from the gank from Golem.
Yeah.
A long story. Written short. Chooses to get the first blood. And Raid, a team that needs to be on top of the standings if they still want to fight for that second seed, or even the third one, which guarantees you the pick versus the team that you want to fight at the beginning of playoffs. And that to me is so important. Even though it's a cursed pick for the NLC, it's still a good
Yeah, definitely the case. And I think Vigo could actually be the victim of a gank here if Carl hits level 6. Errol's also kind of looking in the area. Yes, she is. Guarp actually know he's probably rotated to this side because they've got that lane ward. And now they're just going to collapse on him as a 3.
Four
But his velocity as
ward
well.
out of a sudden. Velocity comes in to try and help him. Meanwhile, Nugget is here. Tries to get it.
No.
Velocity. Velocity is the pick.
That's really unfortunate for Velocity. You have to really feel for him because he's just covering what he expects to be at the very least the Nugget roam, and then all of a sudden they also see Galem and Vigo roam from top side of the map. 2 versus 4. Still really good read from Guarp, and got 2 kills in the early game, which you wouldn't really expect. A lot of the gold, the reason why it's so even is if you take a look at the CS difference in both solo lanes, that's why it's even remotely close at the moment. 300,
Rough start for Velocity,
2.5.
I'd say.
Yeah, rough start though for Velocity. It's in the grand scheme of things, his deaths haven't really like meant too much, but obviously he is giving over gold to the enemy team, so there is that pretty crucial fact.
Do I need to buy a battle pass so I can have colors, or I don't know, like I'm wondering what is happening in this game.
God, don't mention battle pass around me, man. I you know, it makes me feel a certain way.
Certain way.
Yeah, it's because of Halo and what happened with that game's launch.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about it.
We don't talk about that. Yeah. But look at the items from Fred Spaghetti, getting the pickaxe, double longsword. This is such a good lead on him. As Viggo Mobson is, well, I was going to say that he's holding himself on this matchup.
A really strange ult though, because he queued onto Viggo Mobson without landing the stun and then ulted him. Just mechanically, that was really odd. Just mechanically, that was really strange. But hey, ultimate blown. Cole looking to be really aggressive. And speaking of Hoy's,
Hoy,
dead.
Go. You take one of the boys, Oi, and he's down at this point. 3-0, and there's the pause coming in from Raid. Guys, I don't know what is happening. We need to slow down. This is not the plan. For Guarp is Mendes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Tack pause from Raid. It's okay.
It's
Funny
a
enough,
Guarp
it's actually a Guarp pause, but I think it's
so
very
Guarp is like, wait, guys, what is happening? It's the same question from a different point of view.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this Atlas, though? I know you want to talk about a podcast, but you're not capable of that.
It's working really well. We're already out of the pause, which is great. But yeah, doing a pretty good job so far. Really, you know, surprised at how much damage it's doing, but also Silas is just a champion that has pretty high bases, so yeah, really assisting in a lot of that burst alongside Galem and Nysons, and of course Fred Spaghetti with those 4 shots.
Upside, not much is happening right now. Curl, now dealing with this, gets pushed into the turret, and now Velocity trying to get the punishment, like, oh, I want some assists. I want to be part of the KDA, but positive side, rotates to the top side. Meanwhile, it was Hoyes coming back from base. That's why the timing was so good for Velocity to make that rotation, allowing that herald as well. Where did he drop the herald? Because no players have been brought down. So if you want to make this play, it's mostly about just giving some sort of gold, injecting some gold on someone, probably on Curl. Make sure that he's going to be more powerful. Velocity at level 4 gets the ignite. He's the one taking up the turret. And out of sudden, Nugget is there. Golem is there as well. Curse Mummy with that all with petrifying gaze. And this is a clean setup from Ray.
Yeah, Ray Munson gets into the mix of things. Able to clean house, and surprised we don't maybe just see a herald drop, but maybe they want to keep the lane alive, which honestly I kind of prefer. I think when you have Irelia into that knot, keep the eye in that lane as long as possible. Go towards the mid lane, perhaps. Get Errol even further ahead than he already is. Nice little bit of discipline, I suppose, on the trigger pull for the Herald. You know, the instant gratification of dropping the Herald and maybe taking most of that tower could have been pretty high, but I think the higher value call is definitely giving the gold to Errol or to Hoyes.
10 minutes in, and the Dragon finally being taken down, which means the second one is going to be the Ocean. We still have Inferno, X-Tech available, or even if we're lucky, we get another Cloud. This could be a good setup for the Heralds. What do you think the Herald is going to land at the end of the day? Because Idalia is gaining a lot of leads, even though she's not been able to kill the Gnar. The lead in terms of farm is recognizable.
Yeah, definitely so. Already has Ludens as well in the mid lane. And that really is lead, like you say, is very, very noticeable. So I think the thing is, Curl is so close to this Blade the Ring King anyway that... Oh, going for an all-in now, but the Megatron timer just makes that a bit awkward. But this is the thing. I actually think Curl, in the grand scheme of things, has actually been playing this lane incorrectly. As much as I don't like to blatantly say things like this, you can normally punish Gnar a little bit more than what we've been seeing now. At the very least, this 1-for-1 trade of Olmertz is actually going to allow Sin to make it back to the top side for free and drop the Herald. So if the intention of the all-in was that, good job. If it wasn't, then bad job, I guess. Question mark. But yeah, definitely still, no matter what, has been playing out the lane. If he's been going for the all-ins and the flashy plays, not so great. Going for the lane lead, pretty damn good. And should be able to just clear out this wave pretty efficiently. And yeah, there you go. Instead, go back for a reset. And surprise Sin, again, didn't drop the Herald. Still has around a minute or so left to drop it. We'll see where he decides to go. I think if you didn't drop it on that top side play, yeah, it looks like Curl's already got Blade the Ring King. You probably just have to drop it mid.
Be a weird timing as they're going to get the engage on Velocity at this point. Hostile takeover from against Velocity. This is so awkward for him. He's still not even level 6. He's actually getting fed of his own ultimate without having it. I think Guarp are making the pressure on the wound and it's applying nearly enough as the plates are being brought down. Do you think this is enough to slow down what is happening in the mid and the top?
Not really sure. I feel like the fact that it's Galem with the lead, not that I don't trust Galem to carry, but the problem is, like, Graves into this comp is going to be so hard to play. I just feel like he kind of gets minced by most of the champions on the enemy team if they're in the same range. I think that he's going to have to get incredibly fed in order to make a game work here. And to be fair, he is 201, 89 CS. He is on the warpath of being incredibly strong. I think it's about getting there first and actually being able to make something happen. Now, Sin is eventually going to drop the Herald, and it's going to go in the top side. So, despite previous appearances, only now dropping it there. And that will give Rate first tower of the game, because it looks like no one on Guarp is actually looking to respond to that, and they're just going towards the bottom side instead.
Ooh, we didn't get the vision at all. Galem is going to apply all that burst, and he can't find the blast cone, so forced to flash away. Follows it through, and that's the damage from the Graves. Umbral Glaive is such a good item, and that lead of level 9 is showing itself.
Yeah, exactly. Umbral Glaive gives you such a massive spike on purchase, and see some of the burst damage available. Sin Curl taking up this tier 2 in the top side. Velocity just here to cover. That's a lot of gold in the cross map. Goes over to Rate. Not so bad, but that was also a pretty chunky shutdown that goes into Galen's back pocket, which, honestly, 100 CS, 3 kills. Can we swap over to the gold? Because he didn't have to use money for his boots. He's around 600 gold away, give or take, from an Eclipse. So
yeah,
he is... yeah, he's dead.
Insta ghost. It was not even needed. He was just like, oh, that's mine. That's mine, baby.
That's mine, yeah. I mean, that's going into the Victor who's going to scale into this game. Feel pretty good about it. So once Galem hits Eclipse and he's 2 items, and once Victor hits first item as well, I think Guarp can definitely look to, and I quote, stabilize this game, especially when you look at the way the top side of the map state was going. But I think Guarp is still, or Rate is still going to be fairly comfortable team fighting and trying to find some of those big wombo combos. Some of the engage tools, pretty potent. But again, I think this could be a bit of a slow mid game unless these guys really just looked at proactively butt heads, because there is outside of this Amumu, a relatively big lack of, you know, hard engaged tools.
Seems like they at least can slow down what was happening. That Kaiser Renato was picked into Jin, and Jin was first pick, and he's not being punished. On the opposite, I would say. Salas is working. Nugget probably looking for that Everfrost now to get additional lock-in. Yeah, if you have the Victor, the deadly flourish from Jin, alongside with Nugget, Everfrost, stun. That's a lot of CC on one target, and aside from Amumu, I don't see any tanky targets that is going to hold on for all that burst that Guarp are building up. Could be the second adult of the game. It's going to be 15 minutes.
Would have been pretty funny if that stole it, to be fair.
Hey, it's not even about getting the eye, it's just about refusing the eye to the other team.
Yeah. True.
That's why I play Teemo. It's not about having fun, it's about making sure the enemy doesn't have fun.
That is a great philosophy to have when you play League of Legends, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, that's like...
feel like my solo queue teammates
oh, that is clean from Nugget, but the hostile takeover buys so much time and actually almost brings Nugget and Fred Spaghetti down into the ground.
Yeah, a really powerful ultimate from Blossy and keeps his AD carry alive. Still had to blow both summoners, but really nice to make that one happen, and pretty good engage from Nugget as well to get those summoners in the first place. Now Sin, the real Amumu ultimate holder, is here in the corner. And something of note is that when Raid took that second Herald, it was actually Curl that took the eye, and he's all-inning Victor right now. And I
might get this one. Oh, that is not a good Zonius because it allows him to buy time for the cooldown.
No way.
But look at this, the double, the dance is there, and Nugget gets hit by the stun, so the reset city is there. Double kill comes in clutch for Curl, and Galem of all people gets yet another one.
Galem is slowly but surely becoming a bit of a monster, picking up all these stray kills. A lot of CS going his way too. He's going to be really, really strong. But again, how well is he going to be able to use this champion into such like short range, like champions that kind of deal a little bit more damage if he can't immediately unload and kind of blow up some of these carries? I think especially when you look towards the likes of, you know, the Amumu plus that plus the Cassio combination, like you always have to dodge out on the ultimates. And that's going to be something that you're going to have to consistently worry about. Not only that, if you get into the range of the Irelia is going to be happy trying to jump onto and murder you. And right now we're seeing Carl definitely has the damage to do it.
If that hits, that would be the slow, that would be the stack on the Fury, and that would be an engage for Viggo Mobson. The team that is 4-8, and if they want to run away from relegations to go to the place they were in the previous split, 3rd division, they have to find a way to win versus these teams. And winning versus Raid would be a good way to showcase that they're not a bottom team. And just as we heard in an interview today, a psychotic team with Chaos being brought into Division 2. Perfect stun for Curl. This is right. This is also a team that is looking for playoffs, and they want to be at the top of the standings to make sure that if they get access to 2nd seed, that would be good. If not, they would just... Oh! That was a double. There's Vision. But at least allow them to get in, not only to 2nd seed, but if forced to go down, at least to pick up who's going to fight against them.
Yeah.
I think that's a good trump card.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, being 3rd is pretty important. If you can't make it into the top 2, of course, because being able to pick your opponent out of all 3 that you could potentially have is super, super ideal. If you know even before like the regular split is finished that you're going to finish 3rd, and you can be like, okay, we can start doing early prep for, you know, Domino or Monster if we think that's who we're going to play against or want to play against. And it just gives you a bit of an edge. You always know you can be in their heads from the get-go. And we'll see whether or not Ray end up finishing top 2. I think Lightside, despite their win today, yes, super weak. Really did leave me with a lot of concerns.
But then you get to that best of 5, and things may change dramatically for those teams that are able to adapt in the middle of the cities. That is something we don't take into account in the best of 1s, but could be the decisive deal. We saw that on the previous playoffs. We saw some teams falling prey to that one, not able to adapt into the best of 5. Other teams playing it calmly. Okay, we lose 1. We can do it. We can do it. It's not even the reverse sweep. We just lost 1, so it's cool. 2nd charge from Shelby. That's the T2 really, really low, and
Did you just called the Herald Shelby?
Yes.
Oh.
You know that, don't you?
Isn't it Shelly and something else? It's not Shelby, the second one, is it?
I think it's
the
Shelby
first
and Shelby. Yeah.
Oh,
Shelby, Shelby. And the medical one, if you can get the 3 adults.
interesting.
Which you can't. I was just
Yeah, I know. I ignored the third part, but like,
I have no idea. I think it's Shelby, but if it's not, well, to me it is. I don't know. Are you okay? Did I rock your world?
My brain has, yeah, my brain has been truly
Low
shifted
CPU,
here. As, oh,
I would
Sin?
say. Sin goes in, but doesn't get an answer, and it has to be forced to flash away. That's not the engage you want as an Amumu in the jungle. He's subbing today, so he's not having the best game of his life. Because Guarp are really unpredictable as well.
Yeah, definitely so. Such a weird team to come into, right? As a substitute in particular, you're like, well, bottom of the table team has to be something that can be easily done, but Guarp, so strange in a lot of these plays that they make. Big Mopson, oh my god.
Again, there's no flash, that is a one-way ticket. Hostile takeover doesn't hit on anyone, and Sin is burning. That's the jungler with no HP.
Wow.
Can you afford to go better? And I don't think so.
Yeah, that's definitely something. That engage from Sin. Not quite sure what page he was on because Rate were definitely not on that one. And it forces Curl's teleport, and he had a pretty easy time of maybe attacking the bottom side tier 2 for gold. Now they're getting engaged on.
It's on Curl, and Curl, if he dies, that's a big take-in for Guarp. As meanwhile, Viggo Mopson is just helping the double kill, if not the triple at this point, with 4 members dying from Rate on the velocity. For a change, is alive at the end of this fight.
And all of this comes off the back of Sin's engage in the river, and now Guarp pick up 4 kills in the mid lane off the back of an even stronger Amumu engage, and they'll be able to start the Baron. They're the ones that started off originally. They will take this one down. Guarp putting themselves in prime position to take down Rate. This game has definitely felt a little sloppy from Rate. Can't really fault them too much when they have a substitute jungler who's off roll, of course, but Guarp taking control. As we will get a look at the replay and start. Here, of course, we had that engage just a moment ago. Sin chunked out, and it just, Fred's forget, opening out with the curtain call. Viggo Mopson able to get in there, as well as that Amumu ultimate. Great from Nugget, and Hoyes gets burnt through on that bailout. Not able to find the return kill. Errol gets stunned up by the gravity field. No one was paying enough attention to that one, I think, in the midst of everything else going on in that team fight. And multiple stuns come through, multiple kills come through.
22 minutes in, and we still don't have a team that is focused on getting this Cloud Dragon. They got unlucky, they don't want to fight for that one, but this is going to allow Guarp at least to take control of the map for the time being, for at least 3 minutes. I believe it's theirs for the taking. So Raid have to play this one carefully. They have a lot of engage and a lot of follow as well. And looking at that Graves, you don't want to play with him.
No, you do not. He's even going to go towards the Black Cleaver, third item it seems. Just to be able to shred the armor for everybody else, not just the Seralda's build. This also is going to give him a little bit of survivability on top of that, so I'm be feeling pretty good about that one. And now Guarp as a unit are just shoving up into the bottom side, but they've also found Sin. Sin, he's dead. Ooh.
Not. Oh, the shield was so clutch.
Guardian.
Curl now alone 1v5. He's doing the best he can. Almost takes down Galen, which has a 400 bounty on his head. That would be a really interesting one, as the curtain calls and velocity is already below the ground. Poised by himself. It seems like Wraith is not playing as a team. They're scattered.
Yeah, no, they really are. And again, some of this could come from having the substitute jungle, right? Having not having Julbu available today. Julbu definitely been the focal point of a lot of their games. Could also be the focal point in those communications, and right now, like you say, Rate just look a little bit all over the place. Can't be too critical of them, of course, because of the situation. However, Guarp playing this one out fantastically. Can't take that away from them. And in a very important moment in the split as well. Need as many wins as they can to try and avoid that bottom two. Lucent lost earlier today. London United also lost earlier today. This will bring them comfortably out of that bottom two, 9th, 10th place position comfortably for the first time in many, many weeks.
54 minutes, and this could be the window in favor of Guarp to take down this game. Look at Blackly really clips alongside with that overall glaive. Mid lane, Victor was already dealing a lot of damage, and now we got access to another item. This large horde as well. I think Victor is at the point. It's really difficult to pilot these team fights without getting burst.
Yeah, I think Victor might be... Oh, well, I say Victor. Errol is, you know the point that you just made about, you know, being a mage and being hard to burst?
Yeah.
Yeah, Errol, unfortunately, when you get caught out like that, it's on the opposite side of that. Cool, and yeah, it just feels as if Rate are on a slow descent here in this game. And that Guarp just have their number in this particular instance. And again, you can point towards circumstances for Rate, but I think it would be unfair to take away how well Guarp have been playing with this pick of the Silas in the support role. I think they've done an excellent job of finding the windows appropriately and punishing.
The team that really needs this sort of victory, it's Guarp for the Nate. And if they can rack this up, as we were talking about previously before this game started, it's really hard to pick on what they're going to do. Aside from Fred Spaghetti playing Jhin, that is an automatic, you know, it's gonna happen. But aside from that, it's really complicated to understand how they play, not only on Champion Select, but inside of the Rift itself. Is they're going to just prey on the top turret. No reply coming in from Wraith at this point. An amazing match Guarp are doing right now. And I don't think Wraith can reply to this one.
Yeah, not just now. It really has to be a, you know, one of those engages, Archer, where Sin gets a bandage toss, flashes in, hits 5 people, Petrifying Gaze, stuns more 5 people, Renal and then keeps everybody else in chain TC. And then they just one-shot Guarp. Like, that's the only play that looks feasible to give these guys a win right now. I'm just not sure that even on the table that Rate are going to be offered such an easy to win teamfight opportunity.
Can we see the gold for these champions if possible? 1200 is still not enough for the Rabadons. But yeah, mid laner and the jungle are so far ahead. It's actually Sin. It's complicated to keep up when Galen was so influenced by the map.
Yeah, definitely so. Curl forced to flash on the side lane. No objective to play for 30 seconds, so this isn't even like a situation where Guarp are committing the jungler to the bottom side whilst the Baron's up. Rate can't even get their hands onto that. Now, actually, one thing on the Baron, once it's up, if Guarp don't have perfect division control in and around the pit, I think there is a world where Rate maybe look for the blast cone over the back, but if it gets popped, then yeah, that opportunity itself even falls to the wayside. Vigo, Fred Spaghetti is going to take it because he wants to get to the Baron, and they're just going to look to start this one up and likely take it down. Errol's teleporting back onto the map if they even realize this Baron is going on, which they do, but I think they might be a little...
On time?
On time.
Apparently they are on time. Yeah, they can't make this play right now.
Okay.
They want to play it safe as well. You know that Raid can punish some mistakes. So even though they have a big lead, almost 10,000, looking at 7,000 plus, you still have to play carefully.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Raid composition deals a bunch of magic damage. In the Baron pit, you get your MR shredded specifically, so don't want to get caught out by that. Velocity almost dies, but in the river, Nugget.
Oh, the curtain falls, but it's for Nugget at this point. In fact, Spaghetti wants to deal the damage, and he actually gets it. So Sin is dead at this point. Curl is alive, but can you make the play happen? You can go on Graves at all, and all Curl. It's on these two targets to make the game change. They're doing it as Fred Spaghetti flashes over the wall. He's running away with a flash. It's more than enough to slow down this play.
Yeah, just about. Guarp overstep their bounds very briefly. Nugget gets caught out whilst trying to look for a flank, potentially with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. It ends up dying, paying for it with his life, and then Guarp play out the 4v5, and honestly, it goes to the wire. And because of the timing of this fight, they're actually going to lose out on this dragon. Galen is nowhere near. And I don't think anyone on Guarp's end is going to be able to make this an awkward takedown. And Errol is also here just to burst down this dragon even faster. Honestly, fairly big win for Great, because they even pick up the objective bounty on the back end, so they're getting a little bit more gold back into their wallets. Despite, you know, what was a very large, almost 10,000 gold lead, they shrunk it because a lot of those kills had shutdowns.
Thinking about this, Raid looking for bounties versus Guarp. This is a story that just for this game on match day 13. This could be the win that puts Guarp away from relegations as well. You're talking about one side for Raid, the way they could go into playoffs and then decide second place or even third, yada yada. But if you're looking at Guarp, it's about survival, and they're surviving right now with the more stylistic champion select. And it's working in the end. Now, Mortis, if it showcases itself for Graves, that's going to be a really awkward position to take him down. And also, if the Rabadon comes in clean for the victor. I think he's still missing at least 700, because last time, it was before the fight. Yeah,
you need
so it's
400.
Yeah, 400, 500, yeah. So it's going to be complicated to get there before the next fight, because Baron is alive. Who do you think has the lead to start this one and not risk it?
Ooh, I think the problem is for Guarp, again, the Baron shreds magic resist, and a lot of their AoE spells are magic damage, so if they do go into the pit, they are really risking their necks to try and get that. So I imagine we're actually just going to see a bit of a stalemate. Maybe they want to pick up the soul. They feel like the soul could give them a little bit of an edge, or an edge enough. But again, it's a cloud. It's not a mountain, not a mountain, like an infernal or what is it? The Hex Dragon. Sorry, yeah, Brain is mush. This has been a slow game in terms of
a long day
like, how the action has happened, and it's actually, we're relatively on schedule, to be fair.
We are. Hey, do you want a podcast? We have a pause.
Okay, but seems as you brought up the topic of the podcast.
No. Last time you brought in. I'm still waiting for your topic, man. I'm still waiting for your topic.
I wasn't able to bring up a topic, so now it's an irrelevant point, and you have to bring up a topic instead.
So what made you, like, what lane did you start to begin?
So I actually started as a mid laner.
Why did you change?
I felt like junglers were bad. And I still hold true to this. I feel like a lot of junglers aren't particularly good at their role. It's a very difficult role to play, so it's not like I don't understand.
Yeah, it's not about controlling your opponent on lane. It's about denying your opponent, making sure you have a good clear and also a big, good macro to see what lanes you can destabilize. So you don't need to think about one lane. You have to think about the entire map.
Yeah, so what was good about that is when I moved to jungle, I had actually already played top and mid. And my duo at the time was a support player. So I kind of had the best of all worlds in terms of like knowledge, at least at my fingertips at the time. And yeah, when I moved into the jungle, I kind of already had a pretty good understanding of mid lane, top lane, and the bottom lane, just because of my support duo friends. So it's something that I think a lot of junglers undervalue, and especially if you're a new and upcoming jungler, I would really highly recommend, if you're trying to get into, Division 2 kind of level play, or even if you're good enough to be playing in Division 1, pick up an account, level it, and learn a lane. Learn how to play a lane so you can understand the POV of when you need help, because if you understand windows where you would want assistance from your jungler, it's going to make you see the windows yourself where you could look at a lane set and say, oh, my mid lane or top lane needs help. Anyway, away from that topic, they started on Baron. Hugo Mopson has this Mega Gnar, and they're going in.
Good engage, and look at the one who's going down. Velocity, which means there's no hostile takeover. Golem in the front line, and the one on Nugget. Let's see how can fare this one. No, Curse of the Sand Mummy. Good ultimate from the Nard, and trying to buy time for Fred Spaghetti, but he's burning.
Right.
This Hoist is just piling apart on everyone from Guarp, and now Nugget by himself. He may try to turn this one because the stacks are down. It's still a Silas, but it's 17 to 12. The levels are there. He's just sustaining himself on the walls. It's going for the kill, and this is going to be the ace cleanup crew from Raid as they take down the enemy and the Baron.
And the Baron as well. I mean, Raid, I was saying it earlier on in the game when it was a more even terms before Guarp really took the steering wheel in this game. That how do some of the stronger members like this Graves actually get to play into this game when there's such, you know, efficient champions at skirmishing in short ranges, right? Irelia, Amumu sets up for the Cassiopeia as well, and Poise is always going to be able to slip in and out of whichever targets he feels are the highest priority at that moment in time. Guarp, they actually start this off really well. They pick off Velocity, but this is where things kind of start to go wrong because Sin is just able to get in the middle of everybody, ult 3 people, and then from there, it's pretty much over. Galen gets chunked out by Errol on the top side. Fred Spagale also gets chunked out and is basically left to the wolves for Hoyes to pick up because he dashed forward with the ultimate off the back of Sin's own ultimate. Then Galen looks for Sin on the back of this. You know, nice enough to pick him up, sure, but not able to get out on the back of the pit. Yeah, just ends up dropping, and then Ray are able to pick up the Baron off the back of it. And now all of a sudden, the feel of this game changes because we went from Guarp being almost 10,000 gold up to now Rate being on even footing with a Baron buff. 15 seconds left until this dragon spawns. It's Cloud Soul for Guarp. Again, not the most impactful dragon, but still relatively useful. They're looking for Carl, maybe.
Level 18 still, and it's going to be the mid laner getting caught by the stun, so you need to be really careful. Even though you brought in Irelia to low standards in terms of HP, you still need to be careful how you want to engage this one. I think they just give it away. Right now, like, okay, we have the Baron.
It's just the Cloud
Soul. Take away the soul. You do it, man.
Yeah, I think if this was any other soul in the game, you would have seen Rate very aggressively contest that, but it's a Cloud, and realistically, no one on Guarp even utilizes it well. So they just give that one over, not too fast about it. And I mean, Rate still with the Baron, the opportunity to maybe siege in the next 60 seconds available, but I don't think it's really going to end up happening. So bit of a stabilization of the game, right? Back on even footing. Then we'll just end up waiting until this next Baron spawns up. I think that's really when action will kick off again.
A slow game down as we approach by the end of it. I assume 35 minutes. Elder in 5. It could be that fight that tips the scales in favor of one team. With the timers getting higher and higher. One big team fight is more than enough. And Sin still at level 15. While Hoyes, the AD carry, is already at 16. Fred Spaghetti at 17. He's falling behind a little bit. In Galen, we talked about him constantly on this game. But look at him, level 16. There was a moment where the Galen just disappeared. Wouldn't be able to farm. Wasn't able to get kills. And the Graves slowly fell off.
Yeah, and I think it's just a symptom of playing Graves into so many strong, short-ranged fighters. Or skirmishers, rather, on the right side. Get into range to have to deal damage to Cassiopeia. She can deal damage to you, and that's kind of spooky. When she has those items, as bottom side, Vigor Motson gets chunked out a little bit. Goes back in, Curl in trouble.
The dance denies some sort of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Guardian Angel has been popped. That's going to be the hostile takeover. Fred Spaghetti is going to attack. Curl, look at the damage! Flame's already way too low. Curl gets the bailout, but doesn't get a kill, so he doesn't get bailout of any kind. Sin takes a bullet to the back and loses the liver in the process. It's going to be 1-0 for 2, as always is trying to make things even, but now it's going to be the victor on the front line. Chaos Storm has been used, but the damage was just not there. Drake was forced to fall back with the Baron buff gone. Out of a sudden, they had the back foot. And again, no team with any sort of relevant lead.
Scary times, I think, for both of these teams. Because we are, I think, in a situation, realistically, when you take a step back and look where we are in the game. Baron, Elder, probably the likely targets for the next fight. But not only that, whoever wins the next set of neutral objectives probably wins the game. Just because of how long the death timers are going to be very soon. The potency of those buffs, unless we see like an absolute Armageddon graveyard off the back of a skirmish. I expect that Guarp and Rate, this game won't be going on too much longer.
37 minutes. This is one of the long ones, and nobody thought about it. It's the bottom tier table versus the top 3 Rate, struggling to find an answer to Guarp. The game got itself even on even grounds. It seems like Rate cannot find an answer to Guarp. It seems Guarp is on a different level today. Even with Graves falling behind a little bit, there's always something happening.
That is what makes Guarp a very fun team to watch, even if they are 4-8.
Yeah.
And the games, I really do, on occasion, kind of put out like this. Now, obviously, we've been saying it's been a slow game. I wouldn't necessarily call that boring or anything, but it has been a relatively slow-paced game. The action has been very tempered, very catered to small sections of the game. And Guarp giving us potentially the upset of the day if they can regain some control.
Yeah. 2 minutes in for the flip. Flip.
Yeah.
Flip.
You know it's happening as well, and that's the worst part. I can feel it in my bones.
But they need to set up vision. Regardless of teams, they need to set up vision. They need to fight it. They need to contest it. The one who gets there first will probably get a better deal on the team fight. So they need to start doing it. It's 1 minute 39. The wards are going to hold on a little bit longer. I know you want to push the waves to have a better security when you want to do it, but then you think about it, oh, maybe there's a Baron as well, so you want to control the Baron. Which one is better? Is it the Baron? Is it the Elder? Oh, Viggo Mobson was caught. He doesn't have a Zonias. He doesn't have a stopwatch. He only has a tower to try and help him. It's not all he's there. By the way, Baron is up. And the team with 2 members is the control. Sin gets caught, but the damage is no longer relevant on Naramumu. You put 2 members on the bot side, Jamada, and you still are in control of the vision.
Yeah, it's crazy, and Guarp just not able to really pick up anything of use here. But actually, might have just found a small window. Oh, if they started this a couple of seconds later, Hoyes would have been based. I was going to start up. I mean, both teams very aware of what's going on.
The sub is the
Are they
jungler.
just...
A 50-50 is going to be complicated. They're going to give up.
Wow, okay. Definitely a very big call from Rate as a team here. Because they say, if I go in, I have no flash. I go in, I die, and then I'm not available for Elder, so they just give up the buff. I think that's the call. And they're going to be in the river, and they're going to control this area of the map. But Guarp have the opportunity to push up the mid lane with this Baron buff and make Rate make a decision. The only thing is, they can't give up Elder itself. Ooh, Guarp. Ghost spin popped by Victor. That could be a little bit too preemptive. But Mega Nut is in.
It's the engage. The Mega Nut doesn't do anything. Nugget tries to lock in at least 2 members and
Sin.
he gets it. Sin
Dead.
now getting too low. Pull out is not working. Curl on the back line, but look at Hoyes. Look at Hoyes. Look at the Kai'Sa. He goes in. He gets a triple. He's looking for the Crowder. He gets the Crowder, but dies in the process. And now it's about Victor. It's about Kai'Sa. It's about taking that lead. 23-16, and Rate pulls himself above that fight and secured himself the Elder.
Yep, they do. And I was wondering whether or not they'll go for the end, but I think the health bars are a bit spooky, and this is why we're seeing them go for the Elder. To be honest with you, with this Victor having flash, I wouldn't want to tempt fate, pick up the Elder. Hell, I would even actually wait for Sin. And, well, no, Kel's a little too far out, but wait for Sin and give everybody the buff. But going for the replay, and Guarp, they just want to go. They have the Mega Nut timer. They know once that time's out, the fight is going to be a little bit awkward. But this Renard ultimate stops the potential stun from Nugget, hitting onto more members than it ended up doing so. But take a look at what happens to Galen, because Galen flashes in, tries to execute. I think he kind of split his damage between Sin, who was already dead, and the rest of the backline, and that ends up being crucial, because the fact he doesn't put down all of his damage into the backline means that Hoyes and Errol are able to kind of just advance forward almost freely and do what you're seeing on the screen now.
It's a quadra kill out of nowhere. He has been on the shadow of this game for so long. He has the items, he has the build. He has just been waiting for that window, and he finally found it. The Guardian Angel kept him alive, but there's no Guardian Angel now. No sustain on the build. It's a lot of damage, yes it is, but one mistake, it's all that it takes to bring him down. And we're talking about a Jhin full build. Can we see, can we just look at the AD of Jhin?
Yeah, that seems fair.
No, it's good. I was expecting something a little bit higher, but it's still...
Yeah, so was I. But it's alright. That's still pretty good. As Rate, with the couple of members they have with Elder, just brute forcing their way in here. The only problem is, look at the side lanes. They actually don't have many waves to work with, so they're going to get this inhibitor. Oh, I think this game is going to the next Baron. I'm not sure.
I think so. I think
Oh,
so.
boy.
If not, the Elder. Guys, I don't know. Bring the pajamas, bring the popcorns, and lay down. This is a movie to sleep. Not to sleep like fall asleep. No, this is a movie that you watch before you go to sleep. Like the last one of the day, okay?
Indeed it is.
Do you have the pajama?
Oh, yep. I'm in my pajamas.
Okay.
That's the privilege of remotely casting. Yeah. You always wear something fancy on the top half. Oh, Vigo.
Velocity, nice. Vigo Mobson finding the one.
That was a lot closer than it had to be.
That's why you don't spread out in the bushes when you try to do that. You try to make it as close, everybody together. So if someone misses the skill, I mean, it misses everyone. You spread out, you make it easier. More targets.
True.
Yeah.
Smart thinking.
That is a rare thing for me.
Also true.
Damn. You blats are savage, man.
Okay, dude.
He's going to get to Diamond 1 and slap me.
I really do not look for, because I'm too OCD to not finish in Diamond, at least.
Oh boy.
So I know for a fact at some point I'm gonna have to sit through, you know, promos into Diamond.
Excruciating pain.
Excruciating pain to get back. On the bright side, I guess my LP gains should technically be better.
Big.
Yeah, but I'm still playing this roughly the same skilled games, which when you're as rusty as I am, that's gonna be tough. But, hey, hopefully it's all right.
Well,
Baron's up in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the teams fight and everybody dies, and then we get a banger Elder fight. But oh, there's a collapse here.
It's a collapse, and Curl doesn't have the assistance to fight this one. He wants to go in, but the sustain is just not there. He's going to resurrect himself. Guardian Angel gets popped, but he gets popped again. And all of a sudden, you lose one of the most crucial members for the team fight.
Yeah, and that is, like you say, Curl is one of the most important members here. Doesn't blow his flash though, kind of important I suppose, but Guardian Angel being down is a really, really big deal. Without that, it's going to make his ability to dive a little bit more difficult. He actually just sold the GA for Frozen. No, he had Frozen Heart earlier on. So
yeah, he did. So Death Stance, I think it was Death Stance.
I think it was either DD or Wits End, either or. Also picked up Merc Treads. Also picked up Merc Treads here as well to try and get out some of the chain CC, which I can definitely understand wanting to do. And now this Baron is the focus as it spawns up, and then it's going to be the Elder. If we go on longer, then a team fight dictating the result of this game here in front of this Baron. And Guarp, they start out. It's burning down fast. Curl still isn't alive to teleport back in. Are they just going to give it up?
It's too late. I don't think they want to give it up, but it's too late. But there's a TP. There's a TP. They didn't give up on the Baron. They're setting up a fight after the Baron. Curl now looking for someone isolated. Where's the deer they want to pry on? Where's the deer they're facing on? There you go. Big Mobson is going to get stunned, but out of a sudden, there's the hostile takeover that doesn't get the chin. So that's not as valuable as they think they are. In column, on the backline, takes down Velocity. He's looking for another one. Fred Spaghetti is still alive. In the gym, is dealing so much damage.
Oh my god.
It's right being
doing it.
One by one. Both is going down out of a sudden. That's another Guardian Angel going down, and out of a sudden, this is on Guarp. The timers are huge. Plus 60.
They're teleporting to the top lane. It's over. It has to be all the way. Keep the minion alive. Tank
it up. Transform yourself.
Good man.
Range. You have to do it.
He's got it. And Errol, I think they've lost Errol. I don't think they actually know where Errol is.
But it's 1 versus
the game's not even going to end here. The game's not even going to end here. I don't even think Vigo can pick up this.
They're going for the Elder. Wait, at all?
He's going to have Petrifying Gaze back up.
And he has Flash.
And he's going to have Vision here.
He gets the count. They know where he is. Fred Spaghetti still has the Guardian Angel. Smoke screen instantly lines him up. Fred Spaghetti, 4 shots.
I don't think you can.
Do you want to risk it? I don't think you can. But you bought enough time to slow it down. Unless makes the hero play.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead.
Call, you flash away. This game is so long. I'm too old for this, come on.
I'm too hungry for this.
No, that's true, yeah.
Oh man, what a long game. Alright, well, Guarp have Elder. there's that at the very least. We'll see.
50 minutes in, baby.
We're almost 50 minutes in. 48
It's a
minutes on
movie.
the clock. It is. It's you know, we're 10 minutes away from an hour-long flick. 40 more, and we're a feature-length film.
Oi, oi, oi. In
Quite
13 minutes, I'm no longer allowed by law to make noise. So this could be it.
That's actually
This
pretty
could
funny.
be it. For the first time, I could be visited by the law. I don't know. I don't know. But 28 to 18. 48 minutes. Raid versus Guarp. Top 3 versus bottom tier of the standings. But it doesn't matter. Guarp are a wild card. I think they're going to be wild until the end of the day.
Yeah, and I mean, they have Elder, and they're going to be able to force Raid back with it. As that inhibitor just falls. And then in the mid lane as well, Baron buff still temporarily overlapping for a little bit. A couple of those members, and they're just going to use it to get the second inhibitor. And that top wave is on its way in. Now, the Baron buff is gone, but with Elder, super waves, they just have to wait here. Wait here, clear the waves, and play off the supers. How long do they have left on the Elder? They have around a third of the duration left.
Yeah. It's about
Surely.
buying time, Jamana. You need to
Nugget
buy
has
time
the
for
ultimate from
this
a
to
Mumu.
begin. Look at this
Oh boy.
Flash available for Nugget. He's the one with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. He just needs to go in and flash because all those flashes aside from velocity were burned on the previous fight. He knows he wants it. Galem looking for velocity. Hostile takeover is just not enough as the curtain call falls in. And meanwhile, Pico Mobson goes in. He gets the Sin. Sin pops the Zonia. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is burned from one side, but now the other one is there. It goes in. And that is a clean silent support. And the Elder is burning across the HP bars of everyone. And all of a sudden, this is a clean ace. And finally, Guarp, after 15 minutes, take down top 3 of the standings.
50 minutes on the clock. It was a barn burner, to say the least. And Guarp...
Police? No, I'm done. The game is over. I'm done. Nah, it's cool.
Guarp managed to take the win in the extended game. So many Barons, 2 or 3 Elders. Absolute insanity. I'm just going to say, let's toss it to a break now. I think we need to catch our breaths
the players. Yeah,
and then
I'll
talk to the
see you guys.
players.
Yeah, have a nice one.